Hello everyone, welcome back to Touch the Fire Twice. I'm Joshua, and I'm here today to do an in-depth sniff and review of the HomeWorx by Slatkin & Co. candle, Kitchen Herbs, in the traditional big old 18-ounce glass vessel 4 wicks that HomeWorx and Harry Slatkin are now famous for, with the traditional silver chrome lid. I purchased this. It first was released, I want to say early 2021 or late 2020 on QVC. To the best of my knowledge, it was not on HomeWorx.shop or available in Ulta, any of the other HomeWorx partners. I believe it was only on QVC. I purchased it because I was really intrigued by the name and the notes, and I purchased a set, burned through both of them, and purchased another set. I loved it that much. And the reason I'm reviewing it today, twofold. One, it actually is, at least as of filming, available again on the QVC website, and honestly at a really great value. I believe it is $41 and change for 2 candles with free shipping and handling and easy pay if you're into that, which, as we know, QVC's price strategy hasn't had much of a strategy from what we've seen, where it's kind of all over the place. And as Harry and his HomeWorx team have shared, pricing is really up to QVC. They essentially are purchasing the candles. They are the resellers of them, and they get to dictate pricing and promotions and things like that. Harry and his team can influence HomeWorx.shop, but beyond that, it's up to the vendor or the third-party reseller, which is QVC, though they are, of course, an official partner for HomeWorx. But anyway, that's a really good price. A lot of their candles now on QVC can be, $50, $53, $60, depending on what collection they're from. So $41, no shipping and handling, and easy pay, really great value. I imagine they'll sell it pretty quickly because not only is it a great value, but this is really, for me, probably a top 10 HomeWorx scent of the dozens and dozens, probably over 100 HomeWorx scents that I've sniffed and or owned and burned. So I'll get into this, and that the first reason why I'm doing the review now is, again, because it is available again on QVC. But the second reason, perhaps the bigger reason, is for me, this is really the perfect scent to burn at this time of year. So I live in the Northeast. It's late January. I'm still burning, some white birches, some of the cranberry scents that are out there, the more traditional winter non-holiday blends, but I also I want to get into something a little bit cleaner, fresher, kind of the year-round scents, not necessarily into your early spring blooms or anything super sweet like that, or even tropical like some folks like, tropical escape in the winter months. I'm not quite there. I enjoy winter for the most part, but I really do start to lean toward the spa or fresh or aromatherapy, or really truly the year-round scents that don't have a one specific season that they're tied to, and this is perfect for that. So I purchased it, loved it, and I actually purchased more this last round through QVC because, again, great value and fantastic scent. I've smelled scents that are similar to this from other fragrance brands, but none that have been this good or executed, honestly, this perfectly. And I mean it when I say perfectly. The notes, so they only give us 4 notes. I will say when Harry first launched HomeWorx, we got really, I'd say, complex or detailed marketing materials where they actually had top, middle, and bottom notes listed for each candle, initially on the QVC website, where that was the sole original launch partner. And I loved seeing, 6 to 8 cents per candle and really trying to sniff them out and figure out what's there. But now they've gone to just, whatever they list on the label tends to be what you see on the websites that sell them. So I'd love to hear more. Maybe HomeWorx.shop could do that. Any feedback? I'd love for them to give us a little bit more in-depth description on the notes that we're smelling in these candles. That said, I'm gonna show you the label in a second here. Kitchen Herbs is listed as wild mint leaves, fresh thyme, sage leaf, and bay laurel. So sort of your bay leaves, thyme, sage, and some mint leaves. Really, again, this is sort of the classic HomeWorx art direction, right? Where it's usually a clear or nearly clear label, wraparound label, with some sort of imagery that's typically photography-based imagery. It's not usually cartoony or something like that, though sometimes, there's lots of varieties that they offer in their lines. And this one is just like a white picket fence with all kinds of wild herbs growing. So it looks like there's some, maybe some lavender there, perhaps, certainly some rosemary, a little bit of basil, the thyme. Just across the board, it's, an herb garden. So kitchen herbs, herb garden, whatever you want to call it. Really nice, bright, slightly muted, but bright green wax, I would say. This one I burned a couple of times for a couple hours each. Really fantastic burn. It pulls out well, as you can see here. I tend to do a very small trim to some of the wicks when they get this long. Harry recommends pulling off just sort of like the mushroom tops that occur when the candle is extinguished and when you go to relight it. However, I found that sometimes if you just turn that over and pop them off with a tissue, the wicks tend to be a little bit sensitive or brittle to where you might break it off lower than that. So I actually tend to just snip the very tips with that that sort of the popcorn or mushroom cap on the wicks to really have a little bit more control, because you don't want to go too deep into them. It really is just getting that top off, so you're going to avoid popping or sooting. Anyhow, that is all to say, fantastic burn, deep pool, wonderful throw. This is not something that's going to choke you out. It's not overly intense, but it goes throughout the kitchen, and I've lit this primarily in my kitchen. Sniffing this, it is what it says, of course. It is kitchen herbs. It is the perfect blend. It's very green without being astringent or harsh. When I say balanced, it is entirely balanced, where there's just enough of the sweetness of the herbs, just enough of the true sort of green herbaceousness that you expect, without getting into the bitter territory or, again, even into the astringent territory. The tiniest bit of sweetness that you're gonna expect from some flowering herbs, perhaps, though I don't get any sort of true floral notes in here. But when you think of mint, wild spearmint, I believe is what it is, right? Wild mint leaves. More of a spearmint than a peppermint, because it doesn't have that cooling sensation. But the spearmint does have that little bit of sweetness to it. And again, many herbs, basil also has a little bit of a sweetness to it. And so it is a perfect match of, it's fresh, it's green, it's authentic of all of those herbs, even into, the bay leaves and the sage. It's not going to be your bakery stuffing Thanksgiving holiday sage. It is a lighter, probably like maybe a white sage. It's a little bit softer, that can lean almost floral, but not actually floral. Thyme, again, and the mint leaves. There's more in here. There certainly is a little bit of basil. It wouldn't surprise me if there's a tiny hint of lavender. Again, I think there's got to be some sort of citrus. It could, if we're talking citrus, maybe there's the tiniest bit of a citrus flower in there, like or maybe even like just a lemon verbena, which is a lemony green herb, that's not far off from, say, like, your mints or your basils. But it really smells like you just have a pot or a bowl or a mini little herb garden, an arrow garden growing in your kitchen, or on a kitchen windowsill of all these fresh herbs. They're not dried, they're very fresh. Like you just snipped a bunch of them to use in something. Again, I'm trying to be more specific when I talk about balance, because I want to say it leans almost to like a spa fragrance in that sense. But if you've ever had like infused waters, where it's like the water's infused with, maybe it's basil and cucumber or rosemary and a little bit of mint and some lemon peel or a little bit of lemon slices, where you're getting a little bit of the zest from the peel, like the actual lemon essential oil that's going to give you the brightness, and then the acidity that, of course, comes from the lemon juice itself. There's that little bit of kind of a sparkling zest in here, but it's enough in the background that it's not sharp, it doesn't attack the nose, not even a top note. It's just there to round it out, so it's not green, green, green. Nothing grassy in this, nothing dewy in this. It is a perfect, straightforward interpretation of these kitchen herbs. You don't, sometimes when I've smelled other like herb scents, like when Bath & Body Works did Tuscan herbs, which I really, really did love Tuscan herbs. Tuscan herbs was like, I'd say 40% was similar to this, but 60% of that was basil. And it was basil, basil, basil across the board. Very, very, very heavy on the basil. Basil's nice. I want it to be in a blend like this because it is, it's a signature, garden herb, and can be very spring-like. However, it's overwhelming and it does lean, it kind of takes over. I do think there's some basil in here, but it is no stronger or more front or top than any of the mint or the thyme or the sage or the laurel. It's like 20% or 15% of each of those. So definitely get the mint, the thyme, the sage, the bay laurel, and then I would say maybe the tiniest bit again of a little bit of lemon verbena in the background, or maybe even a tiny bit of lemon zest, just a little bit. And again, maybe a little bit of like a lavender, almost lavender greens as opposed to the flower, because it's not, your soft lavender, it's not an obvious lavender. It's just a little bit something that is still, when lavender leans herbal, that's there in the background. It's beautiful, it's fresh, it is relaxing. It could be spa, it could be you know, a true kitchen scent, but it's not bracing, it's not cleaner at all, which sometimes herbal scents can lean cleaner or, you know, too floral, or it's none of those things. It really is the unicorn candle as far as the perfect expression of exactly what it says, which is herbs, 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 herbs. And I love it, highly recommend it. Part of me hates to recommend it because, you know, I don't know how limited it is, if it's gonna sell out. It may be one of those things where it's a scent that's here for this beginning of the season and it doesn't come back in stock, I don't know. But if anything like this, either kind of the spa scents are up your alley or the fresh kitchen, early spring herbal scents are up your alley, then this is gonna be something that you would love. So highly recommend it. Again, great burn, great throw, and just beautiful. It's invigorating and relaxing at the same time, which is honestly, this is like, though it's not deemed an aromatherapy candle, to me, this is what aromatherapy is and should be, because it relaxes, it transports, it uplifts, while at the same time just being so authentically what it says it is. So huge fan of Kitchen Herbs, like big props to the team that created this. It is definitely a keeper, and I hope to see it continuing to come back year after year, because it's something I'll burn throughout the year. So that's my review for today on Kitchen Herbs. Again, check that out on QVC if you're interested in that, and let me know what you think if you have it, or anything else that is similar to this that you would recommend that I check out. And until next time, guys, take care.